All right, Zach and Max here with the Mojo Real Estate team, and we're gonna tell you what it's really like living in Kansas City.
Yeah, hey guys, if this is your first time tuning in the channel, Zach Morton, Max Jones with the Mojo Real Estate team, and we've been helping people move to Kansas City for over 23 years. We absolutely love it, but you don't have to take our words for it. Hop on Google and you can see what our clients have to say. We've got over 700 five-star Google reviews from folks just like you. So, hey, if you're considering Kansas City as a move, check out this video because we're talking about, why we live here and what it's really like to be in Kansas City.
Yep, coming to you, rain, snow, or shine. It doesn't snow that often in Kansas City, but when it does, it's not gonna stop us from getting a video out to you. So let's go.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so here we are back inside, and we want to, we've been here for 45 years, born and raised in Kansas City, and we want to just give you a little bit of history, kind of go over the past in Kansas City. We both moved away from Kansas City and spent some time in other cities, and then we both decided to come back to Kansas City, and then maybe talk about the future.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. So let's talk a little bit about, we were both born here. So Kansas City, back in the old days, kind of growing up and going to school. We both went to Park Hill.
Yeah.
Which is the public school system in the Northland.
Yep, in Platte County.
We lived over in Platte Woods. I lived over at Lake Wilcombe. It's actually a funny story how we met. It was a real estate dispute, funny enough. Back in the day, we were both in middle school. I believe that was about the time.
Yeah, middle school on the bus.
On the bus. Well, that's, where we finally figured out. But yeah, we lived in subdivisions that were separated by a forest, some woods with a big creek running through it. And one day we used to go back there and shoot BB guns and do boy stuff and throw knives at trees and all that kind of stuff. And one day I'm back there with my neighbor kid and we stumble across this platform fort that somebody's built over the creek. And we're like, oh, sweet, we will just take this. And we started nailing some chairs to it and personalizing it a little bit, making it all cool. And you're like, great, we found the fort and it was already here. And life is so great. So we head back home a couple days later, whatever, just dreaming about all the cool stuff we're going to do this fort. Come back out in the woods a couple days later, and all the stuff we had been put on this fort is completely ripped off and smashed. You remember doing that?
Yes. Yeah, so it's funny to hear the story through his eyes because through my eyes, we spent months all summer trying to build this fort with wood that we got from the construction site in the subdivision, but being built to the north of us, called North Lake.
I wonder why when you're building a house, why those prices are...
Yeah, there's a little bit of... They worked that into their plan, a little bit of theft and what. I was in middle school, but we spent months building this fort, and then, we go to the fort, and somebody had appropriated our fort and taken over, so...
I think we made it better.
Yeah.
Improved it.
We were telling kids on the bus about these guys that took over our fort and what we were going to do to them, maybe, ambush them or something. And then they started giggling a few seats over, and come to find out it was Zach and his buddies.
Yep. So long story short, we all got along after that and hung out on the fort together and had BB gun wars and killed squirrels and did all kinds of crazy boy stuff in the woods, and here we are today. I kind of remember Kansas City as a kid, we never went downtown. I mean, maybe for a graduation or for Thanksgiving, you'd go down to see the plaza lights. But downtown was skyscrapers you just saw from the distance, and it was kind of a ghost town if you went down there.
Yeah, it was way different than it is nowadays. We were warned about going downtown, and there was nothing to do down there. There was no, very few restaurants, no nightlife that wasn't seedy, no entertainment to speak of. So, there was jobs and stuff a little bit of stuff going on, but nothing like it is today. In fact, a lot of those manufacturing buildings were vacant and dilapidated, and they've since been taken over and turned into condos. So the landscape of downtown Kansas City is completely different than it is nowadays.
Yeah, and I think Kansas City realized that because they gave a lot of the tax abatement to get those condos turned around. So I think 15, 20 years of no taxes. So it's done a lot to revitalize the city. So pretty cool down there right now. Really happy in the direction everything's going. But
I think one of the things that comes to my mind is a lot of the jobs and what our parents did for a living. My dad was a superintendent at a construction company. A lot of our friends' parents worked at the auto plants at Chevy and GM.
yeah, the Ford plant, yeah, GM.
Yeah, a lot of guys were, parents, dads were truck drivers or school teachers. Very blue collar growing up in Kansas City. I don't know if that was just the circles that we ran in, but all of my friends on my little league baseball team, very similar walks of life. The jobs nowadays in Kansas City is a lot different than they were growing up.
Yeah, and conductors and train stuff. A lot of people worked on trains, trucking, all that kind of stuff that you mentioned. Now we've got all these jobs coming up, a lot of tech jobs. In fact, like Google Fiber started in Kansas City because we're right here in the center of the country. And what a better place to start. If you could build a spider web, then start at the middle and then just slowly connect everybody. And that's what they chose to do with Kansas City. And it's been incredible. And that's allowed all these like Facebooks or Metas come in town. Got Google. We now have all kinds of other manufacturing with Panasonic's building an incredible plant to manufacture EV batteries. We talk about that quite a bit. It's a massive undertaking. So what else is coming to town? It's new sports teams. I mean, holy crap! Growing up as a kid, the Chiefs could never do anything.
Yeah, a lot of heartbreak.
And Royals, the Kansas City Bucks, they're giving tickets away for free. We had a Thomas sports team, indoor soccer team that didn't do any good. It was funny, but yeah, now we've got all that, and they're doing good. Plus, we've got the women's soccer. We have a brand new women's soccer stadium, one of the first in the country, I think. There, we have a soccer team. I mean, it's really turned around. The sports front is incredible.
Yeah, it's changed a ton. I mean, similar to the airport. Kansas City was a big hub for TWA. That was another major employer in the area. A lot of employees lived in the coves and different neighborhoods where our friends lived and stuff. And there is no TWA nowadays, but the Kansas City airport's been totally revitalized.
Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game.
Completely different, nice and new and modern and easy to get to, easy to park, easy to get in and out. And we're getting all these new flights coming in. It just makes travel so much more fun out of Kansas City. Sports too, talking about that, as kids, I remember SPCAA was the sports program for baseball, basketball, soccer, everything. And it was just rec, The coach showed up, he had a basket full of helmets, 3 baseball bats, 4 baseballs, and you showed up with a glove, and that was baseball, man.
Yeah. Wow. My kids play baseball now, and every kid has their own bat bag with their own helmet, with their, $300 bat that they're swinging, and $200 baseball mitt. It's a big business now, not only with baseball, with all the youth sports. Soccer is incredible. We've got Dave, who is a buyer's agent on our team. His daughter is in some serious soccer where they're traveling all over the country. It's just youth sports has changed a ton in Kansas City, but I'm sure across the country.
Yeah, I hear that from people all over that it's wild where they're from too. But yeah, we are definitely right there with you. It's wild times.
Yeah, and Kansas City's grown a ton in that respect. I mean, we used to have A.J. Wilson was, pretty much all there was in the Northland. But now we have tons of sports complexes for youth sports all over.
Can you imagine playing on turf? Yeah, we had roots growing up and bushes in the mud.
Yeah.
You had to jump over a bush on your way to first base.
Yeah, when they make jokes about kids picking weeds in the outfield, we had to. I mean, otherwise we'd get overtaken by weeds. But it's funny how things have changed for youth sports. And Kansas City is a fantastic place. I mean, there's some of the tournaments that we have here. There's teams from all over the country that are coming to Kansas City for their tournament. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, but even with the local teams and the high schools, we have the fairly good sized suburbs that are surround Kansas City, kind of fanned out. There's a lot of competition right here, but of course everybody will be traveling. To Iowa or Nebraska or whatever, but there's a lot of great competition close, and even at the high school level, it's pretty incredible. There's a lot of high school teams that are doing very well in all the sports.
Yeah. Nick Saban was just at Liberty North 2 years ago, I believe, on a recruiting deal where one of the kids went to Alabama before he retired. So I mean, there are a lot of professional athletes that come out of Kansas City, and their high school sports are amazing.
Some out of Platte City that I know. Yeah, so great coaching programs and great coaches and training facilities. So it just keeps getting better.
That's another thing that I think is different about Kansas City when we were growing up compared to now is Kansas City is like a metropolitan area that's all kind of connected now by Kansas City. You know, you have the Liberty and Parkville and Shawnee and Lee Summit. It's all one, where it used to be disconnected.
Yeah.
You'd have to drive a little way through nothing to get to the next city.
It's filling in.
It's all filled in. It's all one continuous metropolitan area. So you don't even know when you're going from Kansas City to Parkville to Liberty or Overland Park to, Lenexa or Shawnee. It's all one blob. So
I don't think it was like Berry Road. Like getting to Liberty was like Berry Road. It was like, now we got
150
highways,
152. Oh, that's another story we could tell. When we were, I think it was right when we got vehicles, 16, we got dirt bikes.
Oh yeah.
I remember 152 was being built, and we used to ride our bikes out there before they opened it.
Park right at the end, and all that construction that had plowed everything up. Yeah, there were some nice jumps down there.
I know it.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I just got a vision of you over your handlebars, and trying to steer the motorcycle with your fender before you were wiped out.
Yeah, one of my better moments.
Good times growing up, man.
Yeah, but that's just like to say wild stuff that we used to do in Kansas City, because you just went out and did stuff, and now it's not quite like that. It's a little more populated, and you just have to kind of, there's still, like, if up around the Smithville area, you just get on the outskirts, you can still find that stuff, and there's plenty of conservation land around, so you can go walking through the woods and tromping through the woods. But yeah, a lot of these, all the subdivisions around where we grew up have all filled in, like you said, and it's not a lot of that space left.
Yeah.
For shenanigans.
But after high school, I went, kind of went our separate ways, and I went to Maryville, and that's it's Northwest Missouri State University.
Oh, it paid off.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. And I got a bachelor's degree in fine arts, so believe it or not, I have a little bit of an artsy side to myself.
It does.
And went up there and got a degree in probably the dumbest thing you can possibly get a degree in. It was great. Not to, say anything bad about artists, but not really a great career track for art. But I did get a bachelor's degree in fine arts before moving out of the Kansas City area.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to?
I went to CMSU, which is east. It was Central Missouri State University, but now it's UCM, so University of Missouri Central State.
Good thing they changed.
They changed it, so it's not my fault. I got a business degree out there. I had some family that lived out there on a farm, and so I was close to like horses, and I could go do that kind of stuff if I wanted to. So
yeah, that was a good hunting spot down here.
Yeah, like farm had some hunting spots out first. So yeah, both those colleges are 2 hours away, an hour and a half, 2 hours away from Kansas City. So
yeah, I will say that's one of the cool things about Kansas City is, Maryville, hour and a half away up north, or Lawrence, 45 minutes away.
And the MU is just a couple hours away too for Missouri State.
Yeah.
So
Missouri University.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few colleges, not only in Kansas City, like Park University and
the Casey Art Institute downtown.
Yeah, UKC. There's quite a few colleges here within Kansas City, but also surrounding. So it's really, a great place to, when you're raising kids and they go off not too far, you want them out of your hair, but not too far. Lots of good college options nearby. Then, after we grew up in Kansas City, we both decided I decided to head out a little bit earlier than right then. Yeah, so my wife and I got married in 2003, and we moved out of Kansas City in 2004. Not because it was a bad place, but it's because the only place I ever knew, really. And, I'd gone on a few vacations here and there with my family growing up, but not a lot because we were blue collar growing up and hadn't really explored the world properly. So moved to New York City as part of my art degree, and wanted to get involved in the arts, and ended up becoming part owner of a performance art bar called the Galapagos. And it's since closed down, but also worked as an archivist at Scarstedt Art Gallery, which is still open. I think they've opened a few more locations, one in London and It was right by the Central Park on the Upper East Side. Lived there for 7 years.
That's a good spot.
So really got to explore the world, and New York's kind of a microcosm of the world. So got to see all types of people, and you go from one borough to the other, and it's like going to another country. Yeah, you got Chinatown, you got Little Italy. It's amazing in New York City. So had a lot of good years out there, built a lot of character. And then the market tanked, and I decided to...
Well, maybe you had a kid too, right?
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, I had a kid, and New York City is not the best place to raise a child, in my opinion, having been raised here in Kansas City. And, just the schools out there, really, to not only the, kindergarten through 12th grade, but, daycare or preschool, it costs a fortune. I mean, I think I paid less to go to college than they wanted us to pay for our kid to go to preschool. It was insane. And I just didn't see any path to provide a good life to my kids living there. And that's the reason I ended up moving back to Kansas City. Was just thought it was a great place to raise a family. The school systems here are phenomenal, and I had some family. It doesn't hurt to be close to a
little bit of a support system.
Yeah, didn't hurt to be close to babysitters and stuff. So moved back to Kansas City, and that's when I told Zach, I said, "Hey bud, I'm moving back home." We've kept in touch over the years. You came out to visit a few times, and was asked him, "Hey, what should I do? Do you have any ideas on some jobs or something?" Because I was going to pretty much crash land in Kansas City. And he said, "Yeah, you need to sell real estate with me." You'd been selling real estate for 6 years or so.
Yeah, 6 or 7, something like that.
It was the worst time, according to my parents.
Oh, that's right. So that was 2007 or 8?
2009.
Okay.
9-10.
When you moved back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the market had tanked. Lehman Brothers folded. The market was decimated with all these foreclosure all over the country. Kansas City wasn't as bad as some markets, but yeah, it was a. My parents said, "Max, have you seen the news? You're getting your real estate license. Like, that's your plan." And it turns out that a lot of real estate agents were giving up their licenses.
Yeah.
And it created an opportunity for me because people were getting out as I was coming in. In fact, one of my neighbors growing up, Vicky, she saw me at the real estate office as she was hanging up her license, and I was getting mine, and she asked me if I was crazy, like kind of laughing at me for getting my license.
And Kansas City went from 14,000 agents to 7,000 agents that first year, all that mess. Or the second year, actually, after they realized what was happening.
Yeah, but I will say that it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life, partnering up with this guy and creating the Mojo team. So we've been on a good run ever since then. How many years has that been? About 15 now, right? 2010 to 25. And I'm really glad I've done it.
You're just solving problems and making people happy. It's pretty cool. It's
a
cool business to be in.
It sure is. Yeah, we built a business that was around taking great care of people. That's what Zach taught me is, he was primarily a referral business, never bought any leads, took good care of people. They would recommend them to someone else who needed help, and taught me the right way. A lot of real estate agents are part-timers, semi-retired people that have bad habits, that buy leads, that are looking for a quick score. And Zach never did that in his business, and taught me the right way. And we've been taking great care of people for a long time now.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
And then you did your little stint.
We have 2 kids that are actually boys. They're best friends, and they're like a couple days apart.
They're upstairs right now.
Right now, it's snow day. They're having fun. Pretty cool. So my kids were like 6 and 7 or 7 and 9, somewhere like that. And we just wanted to, also had only lived in Kansas City my whole life, and just wanted to go out and do something a little different. And most people wait till they're like 45, well, actually like 55, 60, and they retire, and then they go move someplace. And I just wanted to do something with my kids while they still wanted to hang out with me, because I was still a cool dad. So we're just like, hey, let's just go check out the Northwest. Max was here to help run the Mojo team and kind of keep that going. So I couldn't have done it without him. So that was amazing. So he's like, yeah, go do it. The plan was to try to stick it out for at least 2 years, but we ended up having so much fun. And he's like, yeah, I got it, man. We stayed 3 years, and it was just a cool time to go explore. We went to Oregon in 2017, and had a great time. We did more things than people. I've got a lot of great friends and neighbors from out there, but like they'd say, have you done this? Have you done this? It's like, oh yeah, we've done that. We did more than most people that have lived there their whole life. What was absolutely amazing, and I would highly recommend anybody with kids that, well, they're that age and they love you, go hang out with them. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then, and then I came back. It wasn't the market crash. It was kind of the opposite. It was pretty much COVID. But it was still right when I decided to move back. It was like things were going, Oregon was on fire. People were,
Oh yeah, there was a lot of strife.
and crap going on in the Northwest. So, yeah, when we were like driving out, like my neighborhood was on, there was like smoke blowing through the neighborhood because people were like setting fires on purpose. It was just crazy. So anyway, we sold right in time for all of that, and then started driving home, and COVID's like, what's going to happen? And then all of a sudden it was like, but as far as the real estate market, it was like dumping gas on a fire, and real estate just took off, and it was a wild ride for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually a pain in the neck because we had a steady business, and when you're working with buyers and you're showing houses and there's 20 offers on the same listing, it can be pretty frustrating. I mean, you think, a lot of people think, oh, real estate agents had it great, and made all this money, but it was tough.
Broke a lot of hearts
And wrote a lot of offers, and it was, I mean, working with sellers was fun. Because they were happy, but 50% of the people we work with as buyers, and it was tough sledding for those folks. So since then, we've got a little balance back to the market.
Yeah, it's been really good. Everybody's happy, sellers and buyers.
Got my mow back.
Yeah, the mow's back. Yeah,
and we've been chugging along for the past 5 years, and got a good team in place. Several administrative assistants. You guys will meet the team. We've got 8 or so buyer's agents on the team that help us, and we're a well-oiled machine, and really looking forward to a great future in Kansas City.
Yeah, and it's really cool. Once you are kind of in the Mojo family, once you buy a house with us or start working with us, we do several parties a year that once you're on that VIP list that you get invited to. So you get to, it's a really good way, especially for you guys that are coming in from out of state, to kind of meet a lot of our friends and family at these gatherings, because a lot of times when you're coming here, you don't know a lot of people, so it's a great way to get plugged into an awesome community, so you're kind of part of the family.
Yeah, in fact, we just had one, John is his name, came into town right when the Chiefs were in the AFC Championship. He came over to I have a big party.
Oh, yeah, he was on YouTube, right? He's like, my wife watches you guys on YouTube. He's like, hey, I'm flying in, and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he was flying in, and we said, we asked him what he's doing for the game, and he said I'd probably find a bar or somewhere to watch it. We said, no, you're not. You're coming to my party. We're picking you up from the airport. And John came over. He is awesome. We love John. And he was networking with somebody here at the party, a friend of mine. And turns out, one of his friends was a bigwig at a company that was important connection for him to make. So we network for a living, and that's one of the things that we love to do is connect people, connect good people with other good people, and sell good houses to good people is what we really we want to plug you guys in to what we've got going on, so you hit the ground running for you out of town folks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. In fact, he also, one of his clients he was taking over happens to live in my neighborhood. We're really good friends.
Yeah.
So it's just a small world.
Yep. I don't know how many degrees of Kevin Bacon it is, but it's
not too many there.
Yeah, it's less when you get connected with us, because we do it for a living and we know all the best people. So
yeah.
Would love to introduce those folks to you. In fact, I'm repping Quality Plumbing right now, my good friend Pete Gray. So, if you're looking for a good plumber when you get to town, we'll connect you with them along with every other type of contractor you could need.
Yeah, we're out of Chiefs games for the rest of the year, but we can, maybe get you to a Royals game or something.
Yeah, during Chiefs.
That was painful.
Yeah, but there's always next year, they say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking for good things for Kansas City in the future. I think we've kind of touched on the future a little bit. Is there anything we want to add to?
Yeah, I mean, just what really excites me about Kansas City right now, we talked about all the jobs, all the newness, all the like Garmin. We've got all these engineering firms and high-tech stuff that's coming into town. But even the quality of the new construction and the subdivisions and kind of the planned communities and how there's all these amenities in these new communities, how they're really doing it right and planning it out right. I mean, that's probably the same for a lot of cities, but it just really feels like it's taken over. And Kansas City's they're putting in a lot of trails and parks, and like the Platte County Trail just got expanded. I saw it going all the way down I-29 the other day. So it just keeps getting bigger and better. There's more things to do. It's more fun. The school districts keep getting better.
Safer, less crime.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Kansas City is really coming into its own and becoming a great city. And I'm excited to see where we're headed.
And it's affordable. Just comparing that to the places, like I know New York's unaffordable, but when we went and when I moved away, even moving into when I went to Oregon in 2017, the average price was twice of what it was in Kansas City. So it's literally, the average sales price here is half of what it is out in Oregon. So it's just so much. Cost of living just to get plugged in the same size of house. And just starting gas prices out there were almost $1.50 more a gallon out on the West Coast. Insurance was cheaper. I mean, there's just so many things that just added up, and it was really expensive to do that. But I wouldn't have traded it for the world,
Yeah, that is one of the things why I moved back, actually. It wasn't just because I had a kid and just because Kansas City was probably a better place to raise my son, but it was unattainable out there, and that was 2010, and to buy a 1-bedroom studio was $600,000 in Brooklyn. So it was never attainable for me to buy anything. I was going to be a renter, and that's Kansas City. I still think to this day in 2025 is very attainable for kids getting out of college. I'm concerned about my son probably because he's a dipstick. But when he gets out of college, I have hope that he'll be able to get a good job, that he'll be able to buy his first home, that the American dream is still attainable in Kansas City. And
something else that I appreciate too is I never talk politics. I've got friends that are Republicans and Democrats and whatever. And I'd say Kansas City as a whole is pretty neutral. You don't really have too many left or right wingers, but I can tell you living on the West Coast, there was a lot of opinions in a certain direction. So, which, whatever, I just don't pay attention to it. I really don't like talking politics, but you do get pounded with it. And I would say in Kansas City, it's you're going to have your pockets where people are talking whatever, but for the most part, everybody's pretty neutral.
And nice. That's another thing we hear from a lot of people is, man, everybody is so nice and friendly and welcoming, John, for example, we went down to 239 barbecue and
talking my language.
Yeah, eating some bird ends, and we were striking up a conversation with the people sitting next to us and where they were from, and him and his wife was just like, oh my gosh, people in Kansas City are amazing. How nice they are and welcoming, and it is a great community. It's not about how much money you make or, what flag you fly. It is really just, people connecting with people. And it's a great place to live.
Yeah. So come plug into our network and take advantage of what we built here, and we'll show you a good time.
Yeah, give us a call anytime. We love helping you guys. We'd like to have a conversation like this with you. We'll do it over a Zoom call, find out what's important to you, and talk about those subjects in particular. Zach and I could shoot the breeze here all day about what's important to us, but that is not what matters. It's what's important to you. So reach out to us. Let's get connected and start talking about that.
Thanks for watching.
All right.
See you in the next one.